Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Halo Effect. I am your host, Robert Lockhart. Hey, let's talk some baseball. Well, getting swept by Baltimore and then taking 3 out of 4 from the Yankees. I'm sorry. The Angels seem to be a little inconsistent these days, don't you think? They go on a tear, win a lot, and then they lose a bunch. Yeah, that's something me and my dad talked about, is consistency. The Angels just haven't been very consistent this year. And unless, they turn it on big time in the second half, there's really no competition here. Because consistent winning, consistent playing well, that is how you're going to win games. That's how you're going to win championships. That's just all it is. And they just don't seem to be very consistent. I don't know. But in this case, maybe the Angels do a lot better this year than I thought. But then again, at the same time, maybe they'll land in the same place that I said that they'll land earlier this year. I really don't know. Like I said, the sheer inconsistency of all of it is just... It doesn't look that great. It doesn't bad, but it's not great either. So in this case, I'm just going to basically sit back and let's see what things happen. Let's see how things go. Mike Trout, hey, guess what? He's not out the rest of the season. That's always a good thing. Having him out for an entire season is always going to be bad, and we've seen that happen all too often. But he came back after about a month. He picked up right where he left off. He's doing well. The guys who I'm surprised at, I'm still shocked by Joe Adele, ladies and gentlemen. I got to tell you, I'm still shocked by him. He still put bat to ball pretty well, and I never thought he'd be doing this well at all, ever. So, with that said, I can also tell you right now, on the flip side of things, Moniak over in Colorado, yes, I'm going to continue to give you updates on him when I can, where I can. And Moniak's actually starting to put the bat to ball a lot better these days, too. He's on a pretty decent tear right now. I think he's on a 4-game hitting streak right now. He's had hits in 7 of his last 8, I believe, and a lot of them multi-hit games. Not only multi-hit games, but extra base hits. So he's starting to put things back together, and I'll be honest, I really don't know where things went wrong for him. I don't know why they couldn't fix what went wrong for him. But without beating the dead horse, I'm basically going to flat out say that perhaps the Angels really could use a little extra help on the hitting side of things. They don't need to replace Johnny Washington, but an upgrade would seriously be beneficial. And I don't really know why it's such a hard thing to do, but for some reason, people like to stick to their guns. One of the big things that is really kind of getting to me is they have a tendency to keep with this whole, we're going to go with Newman and Kingery at times. Like, why? That's not going to do you any good. That's not going to win you games. They're way too inconsistent as it is, if they do any kind of consistency at all. However, I will say there's a couple of things they're looking up. They've called up top prospect Christian Moore. As I said, didn't do too well in Baltimore, went into New York and actually got a couple of hits. His first major league hit was a triple. How do you like that? That's pretty cool. In this particular case, I still think he's going to be good. Every single major leaguer takes their bumps and bruises. He's going to look bad at first, and then he's going to pick things up. the return of Sam Bachman to the bullpen has been, a nice breath of fresh air for the Angels, who have been having some issues in the bullpen getting to Kenley Jansen. These are good things. Good things are definitely looking up for the Halos, and I would not be surprised to see things pick up a little bit. And, well, like I said, consistency. If they can learn to be more consistent, they're going to go far. Hey, we've seen weirder things happen, right? Well, I'll leave it there. I'm going to see how things go over this next homestand against Houston and Boston. Well, let's see how things go against Houston. That's always a major pain, isn't it? Well, until then, ladies and gentlemen, go Halos.